He's having a debate. This guy's like some kind of TikTok debater.
If I was dumb enough to send my kid in, it's no different than a baby commercial for diapers.
Can you answer my question? Do you think that you have the right to consent to 65-year-old men looking at your son while he's naked?
I wouldn't allow it.
Do you think
That's
that
my
you have the
responsibility as a
right?
father.
Do you think that you have the right to allow it? Do you think if you did allow it, that you would be violating the consent of your child?
They have no choice in the matter whatsoever. It's my decision as the parent. And I wouldn't put my kid in that situation. That's why I think pageants are weird in the first place. I would never...
So he ends the call there. That ends the debate, I guess, with this guy.
Yeah, but he overreacted, I think.
Keep watching.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I think that you don't deserve to have any custodial rights over your child. So for those watching, their handle is goatman91096. It's going to be their handle. If there happens to be anybody in here that's good at has like facial recognition software,
you can find me. It's fine. Nothing I said was wrong.
Okay,
I just said that the kid doesn't get to make the decision.
What's your name?
I would never put them in that situation.
Okay, what's your name?
And why are you trying to dox people, dude? That's weird.
Because I want to find who you are so I could call CPS and have them take your child away from you.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure you would like to try to do that.
Yes, I would. So
They would never even do it. That's the best part.
Okay. What's your name?
Because I would take the part, and I have a witness sitting here who's heard me say I would never put my child in that situation.
Okay. So what's your name?
But don't worry, move the goalpost too, by the way.
So you said that you think that parents have every right to exploit and traffic their children.
That's not what he said.
That's not what I said.
That's not what he said. That's why I'm saying he's overreacting, dude. It's not even him talking. It's his triggers.
No, that's not what I said.
So I'm not going to debate it with you. That is what you said. So I just putting this out there for anybody. Feel free to take his profile picture. Maybe you could go on like TikTok.com/his handle. You could save his profile picture, run it through some like reverse image search. Maybe it will link back to like a Facebook or something where you could find his name. And if you do find said information, that's public, by the way.
You're more than welcome to.
Feel free to take that information and report it to CPS. Feel free to take that information and report it to like the law authorities in this area. Feel free to take that information and report it to maybe his local CPS, etc. Child Protective Care, Child Protective Services. Feel free to do that. I'll go ahead and leave him on the live for around another 20 or 30 seconds here before we kick him, just so you guys...
Yo, you know what? You know what's crazy? Sometimes you talk with people, and then you're like, yo, that's not what I said. The problem is really that they are listening with their triggers. They're not listening with what you're saying. And then they just go off. And you're like, this dude was like, I never said that. And he never said that. He actually said, I would never put my child in that situation. And then boom, it doesn't matter what you said anymore. It's how you felt. And this guy goes 10 toes into his, let's dox. That's two things. One thing is the fact that this guy literally listened with his triggers. That's one thing. But after that, you're like, we're doxing you. Or we're taking your child, your kids away. And this guy that's doing all this thing thinks he's doing a good job. He's the good guy in this story. In his head, he's the good guy. So he has the right to do that. Let's do justice by me. But you're wrong. You're not even listening, my guy. You didn't go back to, but what do you mean? Let me paraphrase what you said. You didn't verify. You went, you said that. Okay, let's dox him. Oh my God, jail.
Right to jail, right away.
I don't even care that you wanted to dox him that badly. The thing is,
jail.
No, it's not even that. It's like you didn't take the time to really understand, and then you're like, let's call CPS. What? Why are you guys out here trying to take people's kids away off of an internet debate? And like,
over something,
I just want to play the clip.
Over something he didn't say.
I have to play it back because I just have to re-listen just a few times.
You do you. I understand why you play back.
So here's the thing about what the guy said. The guy's correct.
They have no choice in the matter whatsoever. It's my decision as the parent.
Parents have jurisdiction over their kid.
They do.
Don't believe me? I've been to public pools many times, and I see a little baby running around naked.
Yep.
And there's adults around.
And the kids ain't got nothing to say about that.
And you know what? I can't tell the kid to put on some clothes because it's not my kid.
Nope.
And the parent doesn't have to do anything. And no one's going to do nothing to that parent.
Nope.
Does that mean that as a parent, you could take your kid and send him off to be trafficked? Of course not. You're going to go to jail. That's trafficking. There's crimes involved in that.
But the kid ain't got to say. That's what he was saying.
But, you know, the whole talk about the kid's consent or whatever, like, if you think about it, this whole consent stuff only really applies to when you're adult. Yeah, parents have a lot of authority over their children. They tell them how to dress, what they can or can't wear, and they have the right to, and no one can stop them. They can't stop them. That's just a reality. I don't know if people realize that, but like, I see kids dressed incredibly, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, very inappropriate. And he brought up the example of pageants. That's perfect. I go to dance competitions and I see little girls look like they're ready for an Epstein video. Okay? That's what I think. It's normalized. Parent has the right to do that. We may not agree with it, but that's what it is. The idea that you're going to call someone's CPS over somebody saying, like, you know, they don't have consent, it is my decision. It's just the truth.
Over something that you didn't understand.
Yes.
There's a little bit of a God complex. You know, where you have followers and you're like, you dictate people, let me part the seeds for you so we can dock this nigga.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of crazy. And I see it more and more.
You know, I used to refer to this kid as like the Ben Shapiro of the left, but even Ben wouldn't call CPS on somebody to get their kids taken away. And Ben is pretty horrible. What is going on? Like, people are extending shit so far past the debate itself that they're now like involving government agencies and like law enforcement into like discussions because of a difference of opinion.
Yeah, because we disagree.
I have to wrap my brain around this. This is like a very bizarre one. I've disagreed with a lot of people's parenting.
God. You lost your kid. What happened? Oh, I debated the streamer. What?
Yo, truly.
What?
Just look at his face.
Yo.
Like, he looks so shocked, and I was sitting there like,
it's flabbergasted.
I don't think it's as bad as you think it is if you just take a second to think about it.
It's not. He didn't listen to it. And he asked again. He clarified. He still didn't want to hear it.
Oh, you know what? Kids don't have a lot of consent over a lot of things. Want to know an example? School. Little nigga doesn't want to go to school. I don't give a fuck. You're going to school. In fact, the state will punish you if you don't put your kid in school.
Yeah, but we didn't have the kid's consent.
The state sometimes don't even need the parents' consent to force certain things on the children. This idea of consent with kids doesn't exist. Yes, you should take into consideration their wants and needs, but as a parent, sometimes you got to override that because they don't know what's best. All right? So that's one. Two, as far as this whole discussion goes.
I thought you was about to say, 2, you're fucking stupid. The timing would have been wonderful.
This whole CPS thing, like I've noticed this a lot lately. You know, it comes down to even Ethan Klein and the whole, you know, crazy leftist calling CPS on his kids and stuff like that.
They're calling CPS, Child Protective Services, to come to our house and break up our family. An agent showed up to our house saying that they had received an anonymous tip that our children were crawling around in dog shit, eating dog shit, and contracting diseases. Not only have they called CPS on us, now they're starting to try to call in a 5150 to get me committed.
And justifying it. Although, it's, you know, so Ela was in the IDF, and they shouldn't have access to their kids. Like, I don't know. This is what they did to Ethan. That's what made Ethan lose his mind and file all these lawsuits. You know that, right?
House is just like covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it.
How is it that like maybe once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been up to, and every time I manage to find more and more terrible shit.
No, I didn't know that.
And then Ethan's like, no, you have to understand, this is like an online thing. They're like, we don't care. So they started doing interviews on Ethan about his parenting. They started talking to the kids. You imagine how embarrassing that's got to be, how fucking invasive that is when the state comes in to be questioning whether or not you're fit to be a parent. That made Ethan fucking lose it.
The thing is, once you target my children, then a line's been crossed that cannot be walked back.
Oh, that's why he's like, fuck all y'all.
I mean, I would be too.
I ain't mad at it.
It's fascinating because you realize this whole internet shit just gets more and more and more extreme every day. Mm-hmm. Like the shooting up another streamer because they talk shit about you on live, calling CPS on people's kids. Like, the boundaries are being pushed to what's normal every single day. And there's evidence of that. Like, this guy proudly told his audience exactly what to do, facial recognition software, all this stuff. And the thing is, this is something you should take incredibly serious because creators have a lot of sway over their audience. If that's how this man acts, trust me, his audience is probably pretty extreme as well. Probably there's a large segment of them who are going to support him irrespective of this, which means that there's a lot of people who are going to look for this man who said these comments.
Oftentimes, the people watching are more extreme than people being watched. they really, really, really go crazy when you give them the permission and you say, "Oh, he told me to do it." So yeah, that could go really, really wrong. That's going to be on your hands.
And this should be 100% bannable. I don't care who it is. Anybody who does this shit online, left, right, center, blue, greens, yellow, whatever your hair, I don't give a fuck. Get banned. I hope this dude gets banned. Perma-banned. Weaponizing your audience to go dock somebody because you have a disagreement which you didn't even vet, think about, reflect, and casually talking about taking their kids away is insanity. That's crazy.
Well, we call that.
We should never normalize casually talking about taking people's kids away. This is one of those things where people who are very young and very smart do this content creation stuff and don't realize their own hubris. Dean doesn't need more intelligence. He doesn't need more, knowledge about things. Doesn't need more debate prep. What he just needed was the wisdom to just think it over. That's it. Just a little bit of patience. Man went from 0 to 100 and is calling CPS. Because if you sit him down and talk about this post, I'm pretty sure Dean regrets this moment right now.
You think he does now?
Oh, absolutely. There's no way you look back at this and have people telling you to call CPS on someone over a difference of opinion. There's no world where that's normal. Unless a dude says, I beat my kid every night or something crazy. Like, yo, you need to slow it the f down. The discussions around kids and consent and parents, that's always been a bit of a gray area. Because we really do allow parents to do whatever they want with their kids. Whether you think they should have the right to or not, that's a freedom that I think we have to afford parents because there's so many different parenting styles. And it's like, how are you going to legislate a lot of this stuff? Okay, take the beach example. And the kids running around naked. Should that be allowed? There's a bunch of adults there. Some people say it's, a little bit exploitative, for example, or inappropriate for a kid to be running around naked. But are we really going to tell the parent what they do with their kid in that moment? Past a certain age, the girl stops being topless, obviously. But when they're really small, like it's a normal thing.
I've seen full-on Adam and Eve shit.
When I go to Europe, I see it a lot more. Here, I don't. This has always been the case and always been the standard. I don't know why Dean's acting all on Craigslist, but I don't know. What do y'all think? Is this too far? Is it too far?
You good?
Yeah, I just want to be a little extreme. Is that my moment? I don't. Screaming feels unnatural for me.
Yeah, I don't think you have a voice to scream.
Oh,
I think that if you scream,
I don't know.
ha!
What the fuck did you say?
Yeah.
Even that, I'm trying.
No,
but it's not natural.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you don't have a screaming.
Yo,
voice.
stop questioning my man.
I'm not questioning
You're
your
making me
man.
very upset.
No, that's
Okay,
your problem.
You need to stop.
That's your problem.
Pinky.
Yes.
You need to. You need to stop.
But yeah, you don't have a screaming voice. You don't have a screaming voice.
I think that you have to have like a sense of like actual rage and upset in you to train it. I just never, like when I was an unstable person, it wasn't screaming. I went straight to violence.
Yes.
Okay.
That's even better.
Yeah. Nobody had
That's
any
even
warning.
better. No warning.
I just
Bang!
yeah. There was no.
There's nothing.
A silent killer.
Yeah.
That's it.
Rage.
Yeah. But I can't do it. Like even when a heated argument is going on, I'm like, can we bring it down? And I'm getting mad, but I never raise my voice. Like when I get mad, it's in my my body posture, or whatever.
Yeah,
or veins,
something about
forehead, the Ethiopian forehead. You know when I have
yes.
I have the Nile,
yes,
right here, and it goes all the way up to Egypt and shit.
Well, I call it the Ethiopian map.
Yes, okay, that's what happens. But other than that, I don't scream. I'm not a.
With kids, I don't need to scream. With teens,
you do have to change your voice though.
Of course.
With kids, yo, Vinci. You have to definitely put in a bit of that bass.
Yeah, definitely. I got that. That's okay.
Yeah, that I can do. But screaming,
But actually, because I talk loud usually,
I've never heard you scream.
toss.
Objection! Gay?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
See, to me, that's not screaming.
No, that's not talking.
I've heard motherfuckers scream. The decibels go up. That's not you. You are loud. That's not screaming.
Sure.
But screaming is something else.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I screamed before.
Okay. What y'all think?
But you're not. Yeah, you're not. Yeah, you don't have the voice to.
I don't even. I think I should have to have a reason. I should never have to have a reason.
I ain't mad at that.
Like there's just no reason. Why would you ever be screaming like that? Like you have to have a crisis moment. Like if, let's say my niece was like running something's about to happen, I would scream.
Yeah.
My lungs would be deflated. But I've never had to do that. Even when I have intense situations, it's never been necessary. So who knows? Maybe. What y'all think in the comments? Let us know.